Congress released its manifesto for the 2019 Lok Sabha election on Tuesday. The 55-page document detailed Congress's vision for the country if it is voted to power. The manifesto explored various sectors in detail. It primarily focuses on 5 major themes that were Congress agenda for quite some times. The first up is Nyaya scheme. The Congress called the scheme a surgical strike on poverty. It promised to give Rs 72,000 per year to families whose income is less than Rs 12,000 per month. Now, it also promised 22 lakh government vacancies to be filled in 1 year. Then it promised that entrepreneurs won't need any permission for starting a business in 3 years. And it also promised that 150 days of work will be guaranteed under Manrega. It said 6% of the GDP will be spent on education. And it said that if it is voted to power, then it will say no to private insurance companies and public health will be strengthened. It also said that it will focus on national security and internal security. Now, these were the 5 main points highlighted in the entire Congress manifesto. However, among other promises, the Congress party has also included amending the controversial AFSPA Act, that is Armed Forces Special Powers Act. In its manifesto, the Congress said if it is voted to power, it would amend the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958 in order to strike a balance between the powers of security forces and the human rights of the citizens and to remove immunity from the enforced disappearance, sexual violence and torture. For Jammu and Kashmir, where political parties and civil society have repeatedly demanded that the AFSPA should be withdrawn, the manifesto said the Armed Forces Special Powers Act and the Disturbed Areas Act in Jammu and Kashmir will be reviewed. Suitable changes will be made in the text and the laws to balance the requirements of security and protection of human rights. Now, BJP, which is banking its entire campaign on the issue of national security being safe only at the hands of a strong majority government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, pounced on this part of the Congress manifesto, turning it into a political controversy. The BJP has accused the party of catering to terrorists and anti-nationals. Senior BJP leader and Union Minister Arun Jaitley said that some of the parts in the manifesto are positively dangerous. He said even though there was a drafting panel, it appears some of the points have been drafted by Congress President's Tukde friends when it deals with Jammu and Kashmir and national security. Union Minister also said being involved in terror will no longer be crime, and the party which says this does not deserve a single vote. Now, Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also held a press conference and said that the amendment promised by the Congress are not right and it will dilute the immunity of the armed forces. Slamming Rahul Gandhi, BJP chief Amit Shah in a rally asked whether the Congress chief wants to strengthen the armed forces or he is really trying to demoralize them. However, National Conference chief Omar Abdullah welcomed Congress's decision and hit out at the BJP. He tweeted, and I quote, "When the BJP talks about doing away with AFSPA as it did in 2014, then it's a sign of nationalism. When the Congress does it, then it's dangerous for the country." Now, while the controversy is brewing over AFSPA, we must know what exactly is AFSPA, where it is imposed and why is it so controversial. So let us first know what is AFSPA exactly. The AFSPA, which is Armed Forces Special Powers Act, gives armed forces the power to maintain public order in disturbed areas. They have the authority to prohibit a gathering of 5 or more persons in an area and also can use force or even open fire after giving a due warning if they feel a person is in contravention of the law. If reasonable suspicion exists, then the army can also arrest a person without a warrant, enter or search premises without a warrant and ban the possession of firearms. The Armed Forces Special Powers Bill was passed by both the Houses of Parliament and it was approved by the President on September 11, 1958. It became known as the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958 and the act came into force in the context of increasing violence in the northeastern states decades ago. Major northeast states and parts of Jammu and Kashmir have the AFSPA effective in the region. However, Tripura withdrew the AFSPA in 2015. Last year, it was withdrawn from Meghalaya, and on Tuesday, the Ministry of Home Affairs announced that AFSPA will be withdrawn from 3 districts of Arunachal Pradesh. Then what is the controversy all about? Well, though AFSPA seems giving special power to armed forces, many human rights groups have criticized it for giving a rather free hand to army in disturbed areas. Critics of the AFSPA point towards 2 sections of the Act. Section 4, it is criticized for providing sanctions to soldiers for excessive use of force that is in contravention to international norms. This section is also said to be in a violation of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution that states that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. The second section is section 6, that is criticized, which also prohibits prosecution or other legal proceedings without the sanction of the central government. It is argued that this provision gives a blanket immunity to soldiers. Armed with this immunity, the army allegedly indulges in human rights violation. That's what the critic says. There are several human rights cases filed against AFSPA and there have been protests across Northeast against this act. The cases also include allegations of gang rapes by men in uniform. One of the most infamous examples of AFSPA is of Tangjam Manorama. Manorama Devi was extrajudicially executed by the Indian paramilitary unit 17th Assam Rifle on 11 July 2004. Her bullet-ridden and badly mutilated dead body was found abandoned 3 kilometers away from her home where she was arrested the earlier night. She was shot several times and investigation revealed that she was tortured and raped before being killed. The incident sparked widespread protest in Manipur, India against AFSPA. However, official version found many disparities. 5 days after the killing, around 30 middle-aged women walked naked through Imphal to Assam Rifles headquarters. Kunan Poshpura mass rapes is another infamous case that raised question on certain provisions of AFSPA. Over the years, there have been many attempts to review the AFSPA, but how effective have they been is yet to be assessed. The armed forces, however, reject this narrative over AFSPA. Last year, about 400 army men approached the Supreme Court challenging the criminal cases filed against the defense personnel in Manipur and Jammu and Kashmir, where the AFSPA is in force. They argued they are being prosecuted for performing their duties in disturbed areas and such cases lower the morale of military and paramilitary forces. The Congress in its manifesto has said that it will ensure to remove immunity for the enforced disappearance, sexual violence and torture if it is voted to power. Well, the controversy is not going to die soon, but one thing is for sure, no matter who forms the government next, the cases provide enough grounds for the AFSPA to be reviewed. Do let us know what you think. Till then, stay tuned to SW News. Now you can also download our app through your Android Play Store and Apple Store.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.